We begin tonight with an emotional vigil in memory of a beloved mother of 6 gone too soon. Family and friends gathered with heavy hearts to remember her as the wheels of justice start to turn against the co-worker accused of stabbing her to death at McDonald's.
Jennifer Thema Harris woke up before the sun. The house was quiet except for the soft breaths of her 6 children sleeping in their small rooms. She moved quietly, careful not to wake them. She tied her work apron, grabbed her keys, and stepped outside into the cool Georgia morning. The McDonald's on 9M Road was already glowing with yellow lights when she arrived. The smell of fryer grease and fresh coffee filled the air. For Jennifer, this was her life. It wasn't fancy, but it paid for her children's shoes, their school books, and the roof over their heads. She worked hard every day, smiling at customers, managing the kitchen, and keeping her team in order. At home, she was mom. At work, she was the manager everyone looked to for guidance. But not everyone respected her. A new employee had joined the team a few months earlier. Her name was Afeni Muhammad. She was 26, loud, and didn't seem to care about the rules. She made TikTok videos during her shifts. She rolled her eyes at customers. She acted like McDonald's was her personal stage. Jennifer tried to correct her. She sent her home when she misbehaved. She wrote her up when she refused to work. Jennifer was fair but firm. She had no time for nonsense. Not with 6 mouths to feed. But each time Afeni left the building, something dark grew inside her. Resentment. Anger. Revenge. At home, Afeni posted cryptic messages on Instagram. There will be hell to pay. Not today. Laughing like it's funny. No one thought much of it. Just a young woman venting about her job. But Jennifer didn't know those words were warnings. On Monday morning, July 10th, Jennifer started her shift like any other. The restaurant was busy. Orders were flying in. The team rushed to keep up. And once again, Afeni was sent home. She had been disrespectful, unprofessional, and Jennifer had had enough. Afeni walked out the door without a word. But she didn't go home. She returned minutes later wearing a mask. Her hands, the only part of her uncovered, were shaking. She walked straight toward Jennifer. Then she pulled out a knife. The first stab was fast. The second came harder. Jennifer screamed, but Afeni didn't stop. Over and over, the knife struck as coworkers watched in shock. A man in the drive-thru heard the cries. He jumped out of his car, fired a warning shot into the air, and ran toward the door. Afeni dropped the knife and tried to run, but the man pointed his gun and yelled for her to stop. Jennifer lay bleeding on the floor, her uniform soaked red. She had woken up that morning to provide for her 6 children. Now, she would never go home again. Jennifer was just 39, but her life had never been easy. She had 6 children who depended on her for everything. Their father had been sent to prison years ago, leaving her to carry the weight of the family alone. Every morning, Jennifer woke up before the sun rose. She dressed quietly so she wouldn't wake the kids. She packed their school lunches, kissed their foreheads, and whispered promises she wasn't sure she could keep. Her house was small. 2 bedrooms for 7 people. The kitchen light flickered when it rained. The fridge was old, but she kept it full. Somehow. At McDonald's, Jennifer worked as a manager. She wore her black uniform proudly because it meant food on the table and shoes on her children's feet. She didn't complain when shifts ran long or customers were rude. She couldn't afford to. Some afternoons, her kids came to the restaurant after school. They'd sit quietly in a corner booth, doing their homework while she hurried back and forth between the counter and the kitchen. It wasn't perfect, but it was love. Jennifer didn't have time for rest. No time for her own dreams. No time for anything except survival. But she didn't mind. To her, being a mother was everything. She worked hard, smiled at everyone, and held her head high even when she was tired. She believed kindness would be returned. She didn't know that kindness wouldn't save her. When 26-year-old Afeni Muhammad joined the McDonald's crew, Jennifer treated her with kindness. She believed everyone deserved a fair chance, even those who didn't make a good first impression. But it didn't take long for Jennifer to see the truth. Afeni wasn't just a bad employee, she seemed proud of it. She strutted around the restaurant like the rules didn't apply to her. She spent more time filming TikTok videos in her uniform than serving customers. She rolled her eyes when asked to clean tables. Her voice was loud, sharp, and dripping with attitude. Jennifer tried to stay patient. She corrected Afeni when she messed up. She gave her warnings. She wrote her up when she refused to work properly. Sometimes she even sent her home early. Jennifer didn't like to be harsh, but she had a job to do. Each time Afeni was sent home, something dark began to grow inside her. At first, it was whispers under her breath. Then it became long Instagram posts where she ranted about her bully boss. "I was wrongfully treated today at work," one post read. "There will be hell to pay for that." To most people scrolling by, it looked like nothing. Just a young woman complaining about her manager. But for Jennifer, it was more dangerous than it seemed. The storm was building. The tension inside the restaurant grew thicker with each passing week. Coworkers could feel it. They whispered about it when Jennifer wasn't around. Afeni had started accusing Jennifer of playing favorites. She claimed Jennifer embarrassed her in front of others on purpose. "She thinks because she got kids, she can talk to people any kind of way," Afeni muttered one afternoon. Her voice was loud enough for everyone to hear. At home, Afeni recorded videos of herself ranting about Jennifer. In one, her eyes were wide, her voice sharp like a knife. "That woman is a bully," she hissed into the camera. "She's a psychopath. But that mess she keeps doing? It's gonna catch up to her." On Instagram, her captions grew darker. "Not today. Laughing like it's funny. There will be hell to pay." Jennifer ignored it all. She didn't have time for drama. There were schedules to manage, customers to serve, and 6 hungry children waiting at home. But Afeni wasn't ignoring anything. She was letting her anger boil. And on the morning of July 10, 2025, it finally spilled over. The morning felt normal. The sky was clear. The restaurant buzzed with quiet movement as staff clocked in and began their shift. Jennifer, as always, had arrived early. She looked over the schedule, tied her apron, and started preparing for the breakfast rush. Afeni showed up late. Her face was hard, her walk slow. She wasn't in the mood to work, and she made sure everyone knew it. Jennifer saw the disrespect, heard the sharp comments, and felt the coldness. Still, she stayed calm. She pulled Afeni aside. Once again, she sent her home for being unprofessional. Afeni didn't argue. She walked out the door without saying a word. But she didn't go far. Minutes passed. Then, the door swung open. She had returned. Only this time, a black mask covered her face. Her hands were bare, but something about her walk made everyone stop and stare. She didn't speak. She didn't hesitate. She walked straight toward Jennifer. And then the knife came out. The first stab was sudden. The second was harder. Screams filled the restaurant. Jennifer fell backward, struggling to escape. But the attack didn't stop. Over and over, Afeni struck her. Blood spilled across the white tile. Coworkers cried out, some running for help, others frozen in place. A man sitting in his car at the drive-thru saw the chaos inside. He was a licensed gun owner. Without thinking, he pulled his weapon, fired one warning shot into the air, and rushed toward the door. Afeni turned to run. But the man aimed his gun and shouted for her to stop. She froze. Jennifer was still on the floor. Her eyes stared at the ceiling. Her hands, once used to pack lunchboxes and tie shoelaces, lay still beside her. She had gone to work that morning to feed her 6 children. Now she would never go home again. The news spread faster than anyone could process it. Jennifer Harris was gone. Her 6 children, 5 girls and 1 boy, sat huddled together in the living room. Their faces were wet with tears. Their small hands clutched one another as if letting go would make their world collapse. "My mama woke up every day and went to work for us," her oldest daughter whispered through sobs. "She died trying to take care of us." The house felt colder now. The woman who made it a home was no longer coming back. At McDonald's, flowers and candles began to pile up outside the doors. Customers who had seen Jennifer's warm smile every morning stood silently, some holding back tears. Her coworkers were haunted by the memory of that morning. This wasn't random. This wasn't sudden. It was a slow-burning grudge that had turned deadly. Afeni had lived online as if she were the main character in her own slasher movie. She posted cryptic captions and played the part of the misunderstood villain. But no one took her seriously until she brought that violence into the real world. And now 6 children were left without the only parent they had. 6 children are left without their mother. A family torn apart. A community drowning in grief. And for what? Jennifer Harris deserved more than this. More than a minimum wage job that couldn't keep her safe. More than a system that ignored every red flag waving in plain sight. She was a mother. A provider. A woman who gave everything to her family. Now, all that remains is her smile in photos, flickering candles outside a McDonald's, and 6 young voices asking why. May Jennifer, Jamama, Harris rest in peace.
I just gotta be strong and just think this is what my mama would want me to do. This is what my mama would want me to do. My mama would want me to be here with my siblings.